Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I'm off today, so I thought I'd make a kind of a long video because this is something that has been happening at the store several times. So I really wanted to talk about this problem. A lot of you people do not take care of your cars. There's more to car maintenance than just washing your car and changing the oil. One, you really should take care of your engine. Um, if you wash it by hand, when you go to the car wash, they have the engine degreaser, right? Um, yeah, if you have a nice new car, it shouldn't be leaking oil. Sometimes things happen, especially over time, that grease builds up. What happens is it builds up and it insulates the heat and it stays in the motor, right? It's not releasing properly because all that oil and dirt coats the engine, right? And you're just insulating it more. So you're making the heat stay in the motor more, which is making your engine work harder, which is making your oil work harder, and it starts causing problems. Plus, if you have too much oil and dirt on certain parts, you're causing problems with like the electrical signal, right? One problem that I've seen a lot is very, very negligent care of people's batteries. And I mean horrible. So, for example, this lady came in with her son. They needed to get the battery checked. Well, the battery was so horrible with all the acid buildup that the machine wouldn't even read the battery because it wasn't getting a good signal, right? The son says, well, I cleaned it with Coke and baking powder or baking soda, whatever the fuck he used. The thing is, I know that people see tricks like Coke because Coke is acidic and it'll clean off the battery acid. But if you just leave it there, you're making the problem worse. Worse. So like for him, he used a powder and Coke and he just left it there. He didn't rinse it off or anything. So all that was built up. I mean, the battery was so horrible. You couldn't even read what kind of battery it was. I couldn't even tell which one was a positive and which one was a negative because it was caked with so much crap. I mean, all over the battery. The battery, the cables, they have the Nissan has a special, well, some trucks have like this special contraption on the positive, which has like fuses and stuff. And that thing was so horrible. I mean, it had so much acid buildup. It was caked on with all that Coke and baking soda that he had used. And it was horrible. Horrible. I mean, all over. The sides, everything. And I had problems even removing the battery. So when I went to remove the battery, the bolts that hold the battery broke off because it had so much acid buildup, right? The terminals, one of them was broken. So it sucked because the positive terminal broke, the one with all those contraptions, and we don't sell those because it has all those special fuses and stuff that you have to get it from the dealership. But it had so much buildup on the terminals, on the post, on the battery itself, and I'm just like, one, if you're gonna do the Coke thing, at least rinse off the excess Coke, because you're just leaving all that, and especially Coke, it's sticky, right? Because it has syrup in it. So you're putting a bunch of Coke and it's sticky, and then you're putting powder on it, so you're baking all that stuff, right? And I'm like, did you rinse it off? No. I mean, you could tell that you didn't rinse it off because it's all built up. Plus, all that acid buildup, if you don't take care of it, it constantly corrodes all the metal, right? It's going to be constantly corroding all the metal, which is going to cause a bad signal. That actually will make your battery die faster. Here's proof. When they left, the battery died because that terminal was broken. So they couldn't secure the battery properly. I've seen several people that when they go buy new batteries, they have to replace the terminals because they're so corroded or broken. I mean, I've never seen one where the bolt to secure the terminal is actually broken. This one was broken because it had corroded so much from all the acid. I mean, so much acid buildup. I mean, there's buildup everywhere. And it doesn't take a lot of effort. We sell a spray, battery cleaner. You just spray it on the terminals, brush it off if you want to, rinse it off, and then, yeah, you're good to go. But if you're going to do the Coke thing, it doesn't make sense to do the Coke thing and then you just leave it there, because it's going to build up and make matters worse. So if you're going to do the Coke thing, yeah, it's actually not cheaper, because as expensive as Coke is nowadays, it's not cheaper. We sell battery cleaner for just a few bucks. I think it's like $8 a can, but it's gonna last you a really long time. It's gonna last you more than one Coke is. And how much is Coke? Like $3? I would rather buy the spray a little bit, clean your battery, and then you still have the can. And a lot of times, excuse me, a lot of times the reason you have that buildup is because either your terminals are dirty or you don't have them tight enough. I've seen people that the terminal, one battery that I replaced, the terminal was so loose. It's like, dude, that's why your battery's not charging properly, because the terminal was so loose. And I think I remember one battery, when I was testing it, I just tightened it and that fixed the problem. A lot of times it's not the battery itself, it's just all that buildup that it's not letting the signal, right? The post is not connected to the terminal properly, so it's not getting a good signal, so the battery is not charging properly, right? If your battery's not charging properly, yes, it's going to die, but it's not the actual battery. It's the connection that is not allowing it to charge properly. So clean your batteries. Check under your hood periodically. A lot of people, I can almost guarantee you that the majority of automobile owners don't even look under their hoods. One thing that I was taught at a very young age is to check all your fluids. Check your oil, check your transmission fluid, check your antifreeze, not just your windshield wiper fluid. A lot of people don't realize that the oil, the transmission fluid, and your antifreeze all work to keep your engine cool. It's not just the oil, it's not just the antifreeze, it's all those fluids, plus the cleanliness of your engine. Keeping your engine clean, keeping your fluids at least at the minimum level. One person came in and didn't even know how to put the fluid in or how to check it. And a lot of times, like the power steering, it'll even tell you it's like from here to there, it's safe. On the newer vehicles, I remember back in the old days, you had to take off the radiator cap and look in there and just pour until it started coming up. But now they have that reservoir, the expansion tank, I guess it's called, where it shows you the level. It'll say low, high. You want to keep it in between. If it's under the low, you obviously need to put more. So periodically, just check your fluids. And it's not difficult. It'll tell you on the dipstick itself, on the engine, the oil dipstick. It'll even tell you low and high. You want to be in those parameters. And guess what? If you do not know, on the dipstick itself, it'll tell you what kind of oil to use. A lot of people don't even know what oil they need. A lot of people don't even know what kind of car they have. So I just know it's a Toyota. A Toyota what? I don't know. You might even know that it's a Toyota Camry, but which submodel is? I thought it was so funny yesterday. Somebody called in. Is it a sedan? It's a coupe. No, it's a coupe because it has 4 doors. If you don't know, a coupe does not have 4 doors. A sedan has 4 doors. A sedan is pretty much just a 4-door car. It's that's what they call the 4-door cars, but it's not a 2-door. The 2-door is the coupe. It's kind of like a sports car. Um, I wish I remember what the W means, but actually, and I learned this in class when I first started working, but I totally forgot what it meant. But W does not mean weight. I think it has something to do with the weather, but and just one more thing, a lot of people think that we try to sell them synthetic oil because it's more expensive, but that's what the manufacturer of the car requests because especially here in San Antonio, which we have horrible summers and such intense heat, the synthetic oil can actually withstand the heat more. So one, you got to remember that when you run your motor, it's getting hot, and the temperature from outside, that's hot too. So your car is sucking in hot air, and that's going to help make the car even hotter. So you want to try to keep your engine cool. We even sell like synthetic oil for high mileage oil for the older cars. A lot of people like, no, I don't need that because it's too expensive. But if you really want to take care of your car, you should think about that. And here's one thing that I learned a while back was full synthetic is actually better, because I read an article that says that the mixed, they don't have to put that much synthetic in it. So it's kind of misleading depending on who mixes it. So as long as they put, I think it's like 10% synthetic, they can get away with calling it mixed. So I would opt for the full synthetic, like I said. And then there's even some, I forgot which one it is. I think it's Quaker State, that it lasts even longer. Synthetic is supposed to last longer, but there's one that lasts like even longer, so you can go longer through in between the oil changes. But check your fluids, take care of your engine, not just the outside, but the inside, and you will have less problems. I can almost guarantee you. Oh, and just one last thing. Don't forget that there's 2 filters. There's one that's under the hood. That's an air filter. And there's an air filter that goes inside the car. That's called a cabin air filter. And it's not a ploy to sell you, more stuff. That cabin air. Okay, so the air filter is filtering out the air that goes into your motor. You don't want dirt and leaves and all kinds of, and I've seen some that they're full of dirt and leaves and all that stuff, because where the air is being sucked in, they don't always have it clean. So you want to keep those things out of your engine. There's one inside the car, usually behind the glove box, that's called the cabin air filter. That filters the air that you're breathing. So like I was telling a gentleman the other day, and I read an article about this one too, so I know a little bit. So if you have problems like me, I have allergies, you don't want to be breathing in dirty air. So the cabin air filter is going to filter the air that's inside your car, the air that you're breathing, the air that you and your passengers are breathing. So keep up to date on those. The air filter is going to help your car run better. The cabin air filter is going to help you run better.